Welcome to a stunted bowl of dude soup. Do you get it?
No.
Welcome to a stunted bowl because
Why?
Lawrence is at stunt school.
Oh, but wouldn't that be the podcast he's doing there?
Well, he's not doing a pod. He's lit on fire right now.
Stuntcast.
He's on fire and like jumping over bridges and stuff.
What if it was just space camp for toddlers, but he thought it was stunt school?
There's
like
no
a typo.
way. There's no way it could be everything he wants it to be, right? Just based off Lawrence's life.
No, absolutely not.
He's going to be
Let's
like, they didn't even set me on fire. He's like,
Yeah.
they did 3 people in front of me, then they ran out of fire, and then they said that I wasn't going to be able to do
The helicopter only went 20 feet off the ground or something like that.
I think he's gonna have had a good time.
Oh, he's gonna have a great time.
and he'll be playing Switch in the evenings, which he'll have really been enjoying.
That's right. He's alone too. It's just him.
Yeah.
He's
Him-
like staying in a hotel by himself.
I hope he makes friends with the people there.
We sound like he's 10 years old and he's gone off to camp. Anyways, this
Yeah,
Dude
we're all
Soup
adults.
is brought to you by Mac Weldon and Dollar Shave Club. Go to macweldon.com and get 20% off using promo code SOUP, S-O-U-P, or get your $1 trial at dollarshaveclub.com/dude, D-U-D-E. Okay, guys, you ready to talk about the news of the day?
What is it, Bruce?
Well, this happened last week, so it's not really quite the news of the day, but I figured we should talk about it because now that's all sort of developed.
Well, the news I saw today was YouTube's doing some stuff, but you put a lot of time into this story.
Wait, what's
so-
YouTube doing?
Some content restriction thing. We didn't have enough time to go in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I didn't want to. I didn't want to dig into something that we don't know about, and this was something that took me a while. Like I spent a lot of yesterday and today looking.
It feels
into this.
like the dust is starting to settle a little bit.
It is
on the Jontron.
It is,
thing.
yeah. So, so everybody has been asking the question last week: is Jontron racist? And that's a very loaded question. So I will kind of start with reading sort of the research I did on Jontron the last few months. If you guys don't know, Jontron used to be part of Game Grumps, and he's been making content for years and years on YouTube. Very funny guy. I actually really like his content a lot. So he started talking politically recently, and nobody knows why, but he did. So anyway, so Jontron has been doing some controversial stuff these last few months. Back during the Women's March in January, Jontron tweeted, "Guys, hate to break it to you, supporting an entire gender on virtue of its gender is something called sexist." And people took issue with that tweet because they weren't sure if he was against the Women's March or for the Women's March.
Mostly Elyse. She had a huge problem
Yeah.
with that.
I don't think Elyse.
I think she went home that day.
Just so jealous of all his followers.
He actually then, when he was questioned about that tweet, he doubled down and then tweeted a lot more. I'm not even talking about Women's March, especially, by the way, just when people allude to the idea that women should be blindly supported. He also said, what if she were a murderer or even worse, a conservative woman? You guys hate those. And then finally, he said, oppression test, : can you drive to McDonald's not in hijab? It's the thing, basically something that Middle Eastern,
like a
some Middle Eastern
headscarf.
women wear, and get biggest Big Mac value meal. If yes, not oppressed. So basically, he has said that everybody here in America, if they don't have to wear that headdress, they are not oppressed. So at least, good news, you're not oppressed.
What if they choose
Good.
to wear it?
What
What if they're in America and they choose to wear it and they go to McDonald's?
I think you just blew Jontron's mind.
Well, if you're like in a sub-dom type position, maybe you want to be oppressed.
That's a good point too. I didn't think
It's
about
not
that.
a good point. It's a terrible point.
So that's just the precursor to what happened. A number of followers were upset by these remarks. Lesson learned, right? That's it. That's when you shut your mouth and you just keep on making content. Absolutely not. That's not what he did. Back on March 12th, Representative Steve King, this will all tie in later, Representative Steve King from Iowa tweeted, Dutch Prime Minister candidate Geert Wilders, I don't know how to say it, understands that culture and demographics are our destiny. We can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies. So that was a representative from Iowa here in the United States. Representative King then went on to CNN, tried to defend his remarks, said, I'd like to see an America that's just so homogenous that we look a lot the same. I think there's been far too much focus on race, especially in the last 8 years, and I want to see that put behind us. Mr. King also talked a lot about how Western civilization is the superior civilization and that we should be sharing it with everyone. Most journalists saw these remarks from Representative Steve King as thinly veiled white supremacy. Okay, so I mean, it may or may not be. It was one of those things he never said, whites are better, that kind of thing.
It's always a weird thing when you see someone say, look, the last 8 years has been like really, race has been a big issue. Like, been a big issue for about, how old are humans?
I was going to say forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ever since upon the plains, a different colored person saw a different, I mean, Dr. Seuss did a whole story about it. You got star bellies and you got the no star bellies. It's this is a ongoing fight with ourselves.
Well, also this climate's very, very sensitive right now, especially right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It comes in waves.
It comes in waves. It's true. So that's actually when our hero, Jontron, comes in. He jumped on Twitter to defend Representative Steve King's remarks and said, quote, "Wow, how scandalous. Steve King doesn't want his country invaded by people who have contempt for his culture and people. Nazi." Now, if I try and get into Jontron and Steve King's head, because I am really trying, I think I can kind of see what they're trying to say. They don't want people who hate Western civilization in America inside America. They don't want people that hate this country to live here. And I understand that from a certain point of view. It makes sense to me. The problem is what they define as America and their culture and people. Obviously, this whole thing caused a Twitter shitstorm when Jontron jumped to the defense of this representative from Iowa. So quickly, streamer Stephen Destiny Bonnell invited Jontron onto his show, which is what we're watching now on the monitor behind you guys, to have a live debate about immigration, American culture, and race. This is where the whole story is right here.
And for the record, this streamer, this is what he does.
Yeah,
He generally
absolutely.
picks
Yes.
topics. His thing. Some people play H1Z1. He likes to debate.
Yes.
So he likes to pick topics and he likes to bring people on with different viewpoints. So that way he can debate them about it. That's what he does.
Yeah, and I mean, like, judging from his point of view, because I watched the entire debate's about 75 minutes long. The videos,
Some nasty words in that chat.
there is a lot of
would
nasty
be-
words in the chat. That's a YouTube video. Just so you
Oh,
guys know.
I thought this was our chat.
Yeah.
And I didn't think there was
Probably not
anything.
too far
Our
off.
chat
Didn't,
looks
didn't
nothing
seem
like-
anything different.
No.
I was kidding. I was kidding.
But no, yeah. So this video is 2 hours long, but the debate itself is only about 75 minutes long, and it's excruciating. Destiny is a bit of a bulldog. Kind of ended up digging into Jontron almost right away because he knew he had a victim, and he just went after
Is he
him.
very leading? with his-
There are certain questions that are leading. Destiny's a really smart guy and very well spoken. Also talks very fast. And
His mind is moving at like a mile a minute.
It is.
It reminds me a lot of sort of like conservative or liberal talk radio or anything where it's like
Yeah.
you listen to you're like, I don't know what you said, but you sounded very convincing.
yeah, no.
And I'm gonna put back on Matchbox 20.
Destiny, he again, very, very smart guy. There are a few questions that are pretty leading towards the end of this debate. But it is really obvious from the start that Jontron was not ready for this debate at all. So in turn, Jontron has some amazing quotes that come out of this debate. Boy, oh boy. They immediately started talking about Jim Crow laws, which are racial segregation laws. Started talking about how they don't affect crimes committed by minorities today. Jontron said, quote, "There are like 18-year-olds who are committing a disproportionate amount of crime, and they were born after me. So how do you explain that? Is that Jim Crow? Nobody wants to get into the realistic things. They," referring to progressives or Destiny, "just want to blame whites more and more. I don't understand why it is anyone else's responsibility but their own. Do minorities not have agency?" So that's just the beginning. And that's sort of like when he was, I think he had his wits about him. Later on, he said, "Why is it bad for white people to resist their own demographic displacement?" Which I've never heard before. I've never heard that term before. It's a refrain that Jontron used throughout the debate and made it seem as if American culture is based on white people. Early on, I guess it was, because a lot of America was founded by
Once we
Europeans.
kicked out all the brown and red people, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is that there's a lot of obviously Native Americans that were here when we arrived.
Your ancestors.
My ancestors is true. I'm a mixture of all of them. So early on,
Perfect man.
it was. But I feel like that's one of the great things about America. Our culture changes over time because we accept all races and creeds, and that was the point. Is bring us, you're tired, you're poor. That's what I thought. Anyways, those are my words. Jontron also used Japan as an example of a near utopian society because it's been homogenized. I don't know if that's true
Is
or
Japan near
mean-
utopian? Aren't they dealing with a lot of shit?
not. I thought they were.
like socially and demographically.
What were you gonna say, Elyse?
A lot of people point to like Scandinavian countries as well because they're more homogenous, they're smaller, less populated, and they have lower crime rates. But I think that also, it's not necessarily just the homogenous nature of race or nationality. It is also a size thing. America's a very, very large country with a lot of people. It's got like I think it's more than just like a homogenous people that
well,
is factor related to crime.
The nickname is the melting pot.
Yeah.
And I've always liked that because I think we can all get together and sort of find our common ground regardless of where we came from or what our creeds are or whatever. Anyways, here's my favorite. He said, quote, "Wealthy blacks also commit more crime than poor whites. That's a fact. Look it up." Jontron then proceeded to get a drink of water, and Destiny couldn't find the source for that claim. That's literally what happened.
To get a drink of water.
He did. He was like, "I'm going to get a drink of water," and got up and walked away.
Do a victory lap.
And Destiny is like just dumbfounded when he says that, as was I when I heard it.
All right, I need to say it one more time out loud just so we can add it to the soundboard.
Oh, no. And then he said, quote, "We've gotten rid of discrimination in Western countries." Jontron says this. "We've gotten rid of discrimination in Western countries. If you don't think we've gotten rid of discrimination, you're living in a fantasy land." And then
I feel like that was a typo.
And at the no, he said it. And at the very end, he said, "R.I.P. my career," because he realized, I think, Jontron's a very smart guy. I think he realized what happened after it happened.
For me, that was like the most shocking thing, because I was like, oh shit, like, does he? So when you say it, he was like, what am I saying? Or I also posed another scenario, like he understands an industry in which he works is generally liberal slanted and left leaning, and the things that he says aren't necessarily in line with what most people say in that industry. So he could just be thinking, oh well, I know where I have to work and where my money comes from, and so I'm going to be in trouble because the things that I say don't not necessarily. But when you say "rip my career," it sounds like you understand that the things you said are bad.
I see what you're saying.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious what his headspace and motivation. Because when I heard that, I was like, what?
This is something that I've seen more with Hollywood, and I guess it just happens to anyone who gets any sort of taste of fame or something like that, where you see with a lot of actors, or I was talking earlier about with you guys about Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's like he's been during his acceptance speech, he's like, "Hey, I want to talk about global warming," and I think a lot of people are like, "Yeah, Revenant was good," and then they forget the other part. It's just something, I don't know where this comes from, but a lot of celebrities feel the need to get political one way or the other. Hollywood's very liberal, and even I think it was like Tim Allen recently said, he's like, being conservative in LA feels like, I forgot what he said.
1930s Germany.
He said 1930s Germany.
Wow.
Oh boy.
And it's just sort of like, just shut up.
Yeah. I mean,
You're going to have political views one way or the other, but people probably are not watching you for that unless you're a Bill O'Reilly type or someone who is known for that. I can't imagine a day where any one of us go, we should really focus on politics. Because that's not what we know.
yeah, that's not our forte.
My takeaway is that some people perceive having a soapbox and a voice now as a way to push their agenda, an agenda which they think they are doing things that will be for the better. They're like, well, and I think like it works both ways, because just because you're conservative doesn't mean that you don't think that the things that you're going to do are for the general improvement of society.
Yeah.
Just like if a liberal thinks that saying like, yes, Black Lives Matter, like is positive.
Yeah.
There are people that think their message is positive as well.
Absolutely.
And once you have that soapbox, you sometimes think there's a social responsibility for you to reach as many people as possible. I don't think that's necessarily where Jontron was at, thinking like, I need to reach as many people as possible with my message because it's this great message that's going to help people.
Yeah, he released another video, right?
Yeah,
clarifying what he was going for. I think he wasn't prepared for a 2-hour debate with someone who clearly had done a lot of research and prep for it. He just was like, I just want to get this one point across. And I don't necessarily agree with his one point, but I think in trying to do that, he started getting frustrated, and then he started like, when you're arguing with someone, there at a certain point it stops mattering who's right or wrong.
Sure,
like
you're just trying to
if
win.
you start losing your cool, this happens to I think every human being on the planet. You just want to get at that person, and there's a certain point when you're listening to it, you can hear he's just frustrated with destiny, and so he starts saying these things that like I don't even fit in with his own rhetoric. Because he doesn't want to give any sort of leeway to this guy, this other person who he's angry with. I don't know.
And I'm not defending his rhetoric, but there have been times where I've done debates or whatnot in school where I've had to forcibly argue a position that I don't agree with, but you just have to argue that position. It's part of the assignment. And yeah, like you said, he may just have been like, well, I just need to be completely contrary to what this dude is
Yeah.
saying because he's so like left leaning or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I don't agree with it. Me personally, like I grew up thinking like, especially in Canada, it's a cultural mosaic where it's supposed to be that everybody can still be who they want to be, represent where they came from, and still like hold all of that true to them.
So Canada's the utopia, not Japan.
No,
Not
well,
Japan.
that Canada's the opposite of what they're describing as a utopia.
It's like all the
It's
all
like
the same,
it's like why bother focusing on a Canadian culture
Right.
when we can have all these other cultures that you can travel
Have this
from.
diverse smorgasbord, and you're not trying to assimilate to homogenize. You're trying to just like let all of that coexist. And so like for me, I get the let's all like have pride and take pride in America. I think like it'd be cool if more of America thought, well, we can take pride in being American by letting people hear that aren't necessarily our traditional expectation of what American means.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do agree with you that like I think they may have been more referring, to give them to the benefit of the doubt, they may have been referring to people that don't necessarily like America. I've known very few immigrants that have actually said they do not like Canada or America.
Yeah.
Most immigrants I know, they may not necessarily have the same kind of job that they held in the country that they came from. I knew a lot of people back home that, managed 400 people in the like Eastern European country they lived in, but then when they moved to Canada, they were working in retail and stuff. And it comes down to language barrier and access and whatnot, but they still were really, really happy for the opportunities and the freedom that they felt
to be there, right?
to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird, the idea of like people coming to a country to dismantle it. It's never been something that I've kind of really bought into on a personal level.
Yeah, me too.
But maybe I'm not seeing the right evidence. It's just the kind of thing where it's like you hear the stories of he was a heart surgeon, went to medical school, then there was a civil war in his country, so he and his family moved, and then they live in a studio apartment, and he drives trucks for a living or whatever. Like he just does something so dramatically different than what he was trained for and probably what he expected for himself. And then you ask him, he's like, America's the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
Greatest goddamn country in the world. Then you go to a college with someone who was born here and they were raised here by an American family and everything, and then they're going there and they're like, this place is going to, like, America's going to hell in a handbasket. This country's a piece of shit, and stuff like that.
Turns out there's a lot of people with a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, and to be honest with you, that's why I actually love this kind of discourse, because we're all allowed to do it. We're all allowed to talk like this. And I think, and Jontron says it in his response video, at the end of his response video, which I'll get to in a second. He says, hey, like, everybody keep debating, keep talking. I forget where the quote came from, but it was recent, which is, I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Voltaire.
I can't remember who said it.
Yeah, I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
I'll Google it. But that.
What did you say it was from? Adam.
Futurama. I was
Futurama,
wrong.
right?
It was
yeah.
actually Family Guy.
Futurama.
No,
actually
it's
Family Guy.
Futurama. It's the lawyer.
It is
Yes.
Voltaire though, right?
Also,
I believe it's
the reason you thought it was Voltaire is
we're learning
Evelyn
something.
Beatrice Hall. She wrote a biography of Voltaire, and apparently it's in that.
Okay.
And the Friends of Voltaire, Hall wrote the phrase, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend the death your right to say it,"
There you go. And then Family Guy used it.
which is often misattributed to Voltaire himself. There you go.
we don't know.
Guy.
Maybe he said it though. We don't know. Like we don't have audio recordings of everything.
That's true. That's a very good point. So
Family Guy.
Just Family
So
Guy.
having spent a
Family
few
Guy.
hours with Jontron and basically all the like listening to the debate over and over, and
You've never met him, right?
No.
I've never dealt with him on a personal level.
I've never met him, and to be honest with you, now I'd love to just kind of sit down and talk to him, because it sounds like he is defending his way of life. It sounds like he's trying to say like, hey, like there's no reason to, like, he feels assaulted. He feels like people are coming after him, and this is long before he talked about it. It feels like this is sort of, it's been bubbling up in him in a long time. This is all speculation. I have no idea, but that's the way it sounded to me. And to a certain extent, I understood why he felt that way, because I think if people are saying like, well, there's all these other people encroaching on your space and encroaching on your demographic, as he kept saying, then you do feel attacked. You feel like, you know, maybe these people are like, whoever he thinks those people are, maybe they're coming after his way of life. And this is when you start to, like, as a person, you have to start to take a step back and start to have empathy for everybody around you.
I was gonna say when did this all start? Like, example, if Bruce or Elyse came out there and said something politically charged, and the people started attacking, you go, whoa, where's this coming from?
Right.
You can't really act surprised especially when the people who are following you or your small audience or whatever is that population is following you because of a certain thing. And that thing was most likely funny internet videos that were game related in some way, shape, or form. So once you start throwing politics in there, you're inviting a very, I don't want to say toxic group, but it's going to be a very hostile group.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for that, it's probably not the place you want to be. And there's a lot of friends and people I've seen on Twitter who have they double down and they want to go political with it. And they're like, that's your choice. You want to do that. But you start to see the retweets and the favorites start to dwindle down to zero because people are going, well, this isn't why I followed you. Another example is like there's a voice actor I follow online. And every time he tweets about hockey, he's like a Canadian voice actor. Every time he tweets about hockey, people are like unfollow. Then he always has to do like an apology of like, hey, sorry. I know you're following me because I'm a voice actor, but I love hockey. And I get it that you want to unfollow me.
Yeah.
And I'll even tell you, mute me when this game is on. And like, I totally understand that. So I was like, oh, okay. It's similar, but different.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's very similar.
Is there a line though? Is there a line of like where you can be you, and also be the people what people want?
You should always be you.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you should always be you. I think you should.
No, yeah, I agree.
You don't have to give everyone everything all the time, but you should always be you.
Well, I mean, be you, but then also, what if you, James, when you become a multi-millionaire, you're like, man, don't you hate it when your second Tesla doesn't follow your third Tesla? Like,
I was gonna say I'd have more Teslas by then. But
well, I was gonna say, like, once you start becoming unrelatable, do you just stop?
Well, you still be you, but you can still do the math and say, who am I talking to?
Right. I mean, it's like self-censorship.
But if the guy likes hockey and he wants to tweet about hockey, they tweet about hockey.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like, and that becomes like, well, are you servicing your audience, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, there's like Gwyneth Paltrow who does her Goop blog. Who I don't know who that's for.
I forgot to tell you, I saw her on the street in Santa Barbara.
Really?
We chased her.
You chased her?
So Bethany and I were in Santa Barbara. We were walking down State Street, which is like the main street in Santa Barbara, and I picked her up in the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
Sorry, sidebar. And I saw Gwyneth Paltrow, and I was like, that's Gwyneth Paltrow. And I whispered it to Bethany, and she's really tall. She's super tall. She looked like Bigfoot.
She looked really pretty in person, though.
I mean,
He said Bigfoot.
she looked. She wasn't ugly. She didn't look pretty.
Oh.
Because she just looked like she just woken up and was walking around with her family.
Okay, now let's imagine Bethany was in there. Now is she pretty?
Yes. Anyways, so no, it was one of those things where we saw her and I was like, that's Gwyneth Paltrow, and Bethany didn't see, so she walked right by, and she's like, what? Where? And I was like, should we chase her? And like, do you want to see her? And Bethany was like, okay, all right. So we followed her down the street.
You took out your old camera that has the thing and the gunpowder.
Gwyneth!
Gwyneth, one photo, Gwyneth.
Hold on, wait for the light, Bob.
Pose for the can.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was she probably has one of those eggs in her vagina.
Oh yeah,
That
like
was
a Fabergé
that was
egg.
all I could think of.
What?
Haven't you heard about how she has those? What is it? What
Is
do
it
they call
Fabergé
those?
egg that she has in her
Yeah,
vagina?
she puts
I don't
like
know.
Fabergé eggs or something in her vagina.
What?
I think it's time for an ad read.
Absolutely. Speaking of vaginas.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh wow. Okay. Was I supposed to do this one? Oh, Lawrence.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of vaginas, Mack Weldon is better than whatever you're wearing in terms of underwear right now.
I'm wearing Mack Weldon.
Oh, so
I'm also wearing that.
Mack Weldon will be the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants that you will ever wear. They have a line. What are you doing?
We're checking his Mack
Yeah.
Weldon.
They have a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial,
good.
which means they eliminate odor.
Yep.
I actually do know that firsthand. They want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it, and they will still refund you, no questions asked. So go to mackweldon.com. It's MACKWELDON.com and get 20% off any underwear, shirts, or whatever you want to buy using promo code SOUP, S-O-U-P. So that's mackweldon.com / promo code SOUP, S-O-U-P. And again, we all wear Mack Weldon, I think, a lot of the time here. And I really like their shirts. I really like their underwear. It's all really good stuff.
I've almost replaced all my
Clothes.
They did more than, let's see, shirts, underwear, socks.
I think they do
The shorts. I
doing
have those
shorts?
shorts. It's awesome.
Yeah, you keep telling me about the shorts.
I have the pants, for sleepy pants, like the sweatpants.
You have sleepy pants?
They're really
Damn,
good. Jess
I
got
have
them for me for
sleepy
Christmas.
pants.
Fantastic.
Sounds awesome.
Anyway,
Anyway, all right. So back to Jontron.
let's bring it back down.
Back to Jontron. Yeah. So
I like when we're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow and underwear, but let's go on.
So this was after the debate. I believe the debate. When was it? Tuesday. I can find out right now when this aired. Let's see here.
I believe you.
It was the 13th. So I think that was Tuesday of last week.
Right.
And in a few days, he started to see his subscribers dropping off, and started to get a lot of angry hate in his subreddit, on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Media, websites, lots of websites.
Everybody was writing articles about him. I mean, like Time wrote an article about it.
Listen, I don't like people with different views as much as the next person, but we're really diluting the term Nazi in this modern age.
Yeah.
I remember the good old days when Nazi meant something.
Yeah, when Nazi stood for something.
Yeah.
Um,
I know what you're saying though. It is a term that's like
just throwing it around. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so there's that, and then there's also social justice warrior. It's like, just chill out with these guy. You just apply it to everything. It's not a line.
It's weird because on the one hand, it's like you want to take the power away, but on the other hand, yeah, it's like you can't use that term so much.
Yeah.
Because eventually it becomes something that's like a trigger for everybody because you hear it so often.
well, it's so easy too.
It is very, very easy, you're right?
Yeah, it also kind of makes you a less reliable just source. It kind of, if you're just being so exaggerative with your language, saying that person's a Nazi, it's like right away I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to listen
Yeah.
to what you have to say, because you can say that person is an extremist.
Yep.
You can say that maybe their views are not biased. You can say that they are hateful, like, but Nazi, I'm just like, oh, that's a little too much.
Is it weird that we have a logo that Jeff has called on many times, swastika-esque?
Well, I mean,
then we went on to play Germans called the SS Boys, and now we're defending the word Nazi.
oh, I'm not defending that. I mean, like, it's
Come at us, Wall Street Journal.
I mean, Nazis
just
are
asking for it.
terrible.
Like,
Nazis are terrible.
defend words.
we just need the write-up. We need the press.
Look,
Nazis were terrible and we beat them.
Yes.
And now
Well,
like
I guess
Russians too.
I guess
and the
what you're
Russians too. You're right.
Yeah, there's a little English help too there.
Yeah. a little English
Well, I
help.
guess what you're saying is Nazis haven't really existed in what was an actual Nazi for
You mean like as a large group of like a very large
Like
group of
a
people?
political-
German political party.
Yeah.
a influential political party that then wanted to do very horrible things.
Right.
yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. What exists now are either white supremacists or people with extreme views, but it's much easier to go Nazi.
You're a Nazi, right?
Yeah,
So
because
Jeff-
it's only four letters.
Jeff needs to stop being such a cuck, basically.
Man, I love
That word's okay.
I
though.
love that word.
I don't know. Even that one's getting a little played out.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. We're trying to play it.
Oh, yeah.
out.
Oh, okay.
But what a ride.
Dilute it. Cuck's just funnier.
Sorry.
It's
no,
just a
totally.
funny
It's
word.
absolutely fine.
Because I think of cluck like a chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, we can start calling
Is that
them
not
clucks?
what it means?
Yeah.
What?
I thought that's what it meant.
No, no, you don't
Uh-oh.
know.
Look at this
Oh,
straw
boy.
man over here.
Anyway, so Jontron released a response to all of this on his channel. It's a video response that's unlisted, which is kind of strange. So you can only find it through links on like Polygon or whatever. And he tries to justify his remarks during it's a 4-minute video. He tries to justify his remarks during the Destiny debate as being under, quote, a lot of pressure and not being prepared. I think he felt, again, ganged up on or attacked. And also, he readily admitted that he was not ready for the debate, which I appreciated. He also talks about tribalization. And I don't hear people talking about tribalization very often. Probably because that isn't what Western society is about, at least in my opinion. And that if people are allowed to talk in terms of race, why aren't white people allowed to do the same? That's what Jontron was kind of asking that same question. He goes on to defend immigration, saying he's a child of 2 immigrants, which he is. Finally, he says he's going to take a step back and go back to doing comedy, which he's better at anyway. And then I clapped. At my computer screen, was like, please go back to comedy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where he realized that when he went out there, said his views, and then doubled down on those views, he made his life a lot harder, and probably realized he was not as educated as he should have been on all of those issues, and realizing the depth and breadth of those terms and those concepts.
It just comes down to what, this is just speaking for Jontron and us, like, what do you want to do? What do you find, what brings you enjoyment? For me, it's playing video games and being funny with my friends.
Yeah.
It's not talking about politics. It's not talking about real issues, which some could say, well, it's like, well, you're a coward and because you guys don't want to talk about this. It's like, honestly, I don't think my opinion will sway one person one way or the other, or really holds that much value.
I was gonna say there's a difference between being a coward and being an idiot.
Yeah.
I'd say we fall on the idiot side of things.
Happy idiots. Yeah. I look, my true opinion is that one day the robots will rise and we're all going to be dead anyway.
Robots,
And
yeah,
this
they'll
is
be
just
dead.
this is just a digital microsecond that the little baby robots learn in robot class. And they go, wow, they were dumb.
Well, but the coolest part about the robots rising is we're going to unite against them as one. It won't matter about our race.
We're going to lose. We're going to lose
Well,
immediately.
Because someone's going to call someone else a Nazi, and then
Yeah.
it's going to
But
be a whole big
where
thing.
do you think the robots came from? Japan, homogenous society.
wonder.
that's
What?
true.
No, they all come from Boston Dynamics. Seen them? They got wheels now.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I, for one, can't wait to surrender to a society that's merged itself into a multicultural, landscapey thing, because mixed race people are banging.
They really are banging.
It's like almost as though genetics has said, you gotta mix it up.
Well, and that's one of my favorite parts. So, like jazz is a great example of fusion that came from a bunch of different cultures all
that like a
together,
porn star?
all at once.
He's Will Smith's friend from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Nice. Oh, Jazz is the perfect woman, man.
And it's I think it's basically it's the only music that America
People hate jazz.
but also people love jazz.
They also don't understand it.
They also don't understand
They
it.
fear it.
America has birthed. That's the only music America's really ever birthed. Apparently, is jazz, and that's
Wait, what about rap?
That's
And
what
dubstep.
and dubstep. But no, I've always heard that that's jazz is like our basically the American official American music. That's just what I've heard.
I mean, some people would argue that good old fashioned country.
Whatever you say, Jontron.
I'm an original guy. I think trance.
So it's
not
weird.
come from
It's
America.
I thinking about it, because Bruce and I were talking about this earlier, and some sort of question came up like, how do you know someone's a racist?
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There was that. I don't remember the exact prompting, and I was like, it feels like it's less a matter of being a racist and more of a matter of how much you're in it for yourself. Right? Because I think that there's certain barriers. This is my personal opinion. There's certain barriers between you and then everyone coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that it's necessarily that a person with light skin is looking at other people with light skin and saying like, me and people that look like me are better than you. I think it's the kind of thing that once people that look like you appear to be losing ground in some sort of capacity in the society in which you live, you do the math and you go, oh shit, that means it's coming from me. And then you're like, I'm going to lose ground. And because I care about myself most, like, I don't want that to
But
happen.
I guess it has to be self-preservation, because I can look and see like, oh, there are maybe fewer. I'm noticing like, 'cause, like for example, my high school, there were tons of people of different races,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was obvious. Didn't matter. Who
Well,
cares?
No, I'm not saying
Like
that
all those
everyone,
people. I
everyone
know
has
that's what
the
I'm-
reaction to self-preserve.
Sure.
But I think that maybe also a difference between your high school, I don't know what it was, is that it was kind of that way when you got there. You just kind of grew up in a world where there were all these different peoples, and it wasn't a tug of war, so to speak.
I guess
America is a little different because it's kind of been embattled with itself for a real long time. As the first people came in, they saw other people and they said, you get out, this is our space. And then from that point on, other cultures came in, and then I think there was a feeling of like losing ground.
So, Jontron's parents are those people that came in. So
Yeah, I don't know where that. I'm not speaking to him specifically.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know where that comes from.
Well, I mean, like that, and that was another thing I speculated about. Is typically a lot of your philosophies when you're growing up come from your parents. Like usually whatever they believe, you tend to either sort of side with them or like you'll listen, hear them out. Maybe, some things will change when you go through puberty and college and high school and all that other stuff. But from the way he talked, it sounded as if like him and his parents kind of all agreed down these lines. Now, I'm not saying they agreed to everything, but he is the child of two immigrants, and I think the first generation, so they just come. And I've heard some very interesting opinions from immigrants that had just immigrated to the United States. Like in the last 20 or 30 years, I'd heard people talk about America and almost I've heard them come in and say, and like basically shut the door behind them and be like, no, we don't need anybody else. And I was always like, that's such an interesting philosophy, because if you just came here because you know America's great or you wanted to be in America, and now you're like, never mind, you know what, we don't need anybody else.
Yeah, but I mean that also, again, we don't know anything about what his parents
Oh,
are,
of course,
like,
of course, yeah.
that also kind of is in line. You have a built-in American pride that you think America's the best country. You got in.
Well,
but maybe in the interest of self-preservation,
Like, we're
not
good now.
everyone else is good as you. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
I do think that like a lot of immigrants, whether they're coming to Canada or US, they do kind of gravitate more toward places where there are people that are from their same home countries.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So like in Toronto, a lot of Polish people, they'll go live in Roncesvalles. A lot of Ukrainians will go live in Belarus Village. Like
You
it's
can't
like
say that. That's not. You can't use that word.
that's how people sort of try to assimilate, is they find those communities within the country they've moved to, and they sort of find that support base from their.
What would any of you do if tomorrow Rooster Teeth moved to France and they said, we're all moving to France? Would you go find that American pocket, or would you just go, take me, France?
Well,
Like, ooh la la, and they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
they've been rude to me.
sometimes in the interest of survival, you have to find that pocket.
yeah. It's
Because
like prison.
you're not fully prepared for it. Yeah, I don't know. I always refer to a little flick called Gangs of New York.
Well, Bill the Butcher.
Yeah, well, Bill the Butcher is basically the racist antagonist of that film. He's the white supremacist, and he hates the Irish.
Is that what it was? He
Yeah,
hated the Irish?
the Irish, like Liam Neeson and Leonardo DiCaprio, who is his son in the film, like represent the Irish, who are the latest round of immigrants to come. But it's like Bill the Butcher, he's like one removed. So
Yeah.
like his parents came over, but they were just there first, and so he grew up in America.
Like,
but
there's
he
my
hates the
country
people
now.
that come right afterwards.
Does that face the whole
It's,
time? Yeah. I'll be cutting.
That's kind of it though. Like that's a good example of it.
Well, it's interesting that you got there, because that's where the debate, Jontron and Destiny, they debate about that, about how, I guess early, like in the 1800s, people didn't like the Irish, and so then
Still don't.
the Irish were considered white people, or they were considered not white people, right? Not white people of this culture, today's day and age, and it's another interesting part of the debate, because they're trying to, I guess, determine, like Jontron saying, oh, now they're integrated, so now they're kind of part of us, and Destiny's saying, well, hey, that's happening right now. Doesn't matter what the color of your skin or whatever. If they're all integrating, eventually we'll all just be Americans.
This is why we need an alien invasion, because I believe that would offer perspective. That's
Yeah,
what I always
sure.
loved
With
about
the robots.
That's,
Absolutely.
well, but we built the robots. That's
That's
different.
true. That's true.
Well, Japan
This
did.
is before the robots.
Japan built the robot.
You'll read my book series.
Sorry, go on.
Oh no, but like an Independence Day type situation, or Starship Troopers, where they're like, I love when everyone goes, like, 'cause first it's like brown versus black and versus white, and everyone's fighting. Then they go, oh fuck, bugs from space, and then so we all band together
Yeah.
and go, fuck it, I'm gonna move to Buenos Aires.
It's awesome.
And I want to go kill bugs, and everyone holds hand, like race is
Yeah.
gone. Now it's us versus them.
metal on metal, because we've built
But
kaijus or Jaegers, whichever one was the witch.
Yeah.
I don't remember which is which.
but then what happens? This sort of, I think, happens just with people in general. You start to divide within yourself. So it could be like an entire group of white people can kick all the colored people out or whatever they do, but then they start to go, well, you're Irish and I'm German, and there's and now it's like, now you just start getting subsections and people just start interfighting. Like, that's a weird human nature thing that we do. We need giant bugs to attack us.
Here's the thing.
That'd be
is,
helpful. EDF was onto something.
It's interesting because language itself the theory behind language is that it was innately built. It formed in humanity because human beings needed to learn how to trade with each other in more complex fashions. But it also allowed different cultures, tribes, if you will, to immediately determine whether or not someone was part of their tribe because the way they looked at them sometimes wasn't enough.
Right.
So you could talk to them, and as soon as they couldn't talk back to you, you're like, I don't know you. Like, I don't know you, where you're from, which tribe are you from. And languages are extremely complex to learn. It's almost by design such that even if you learn it, you might have an accent, and boom, the human brain can go, you're not from here. I know you're not from here, even though you look exactly like me. So now I know how to qualify our distance in terms of where we kind of grew up.
Is that working against us, though, in the long run? Like, that's a big reason why I love the movie Arrival. When it's just sort of like, there was like, what if, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind.
Go for it.
We've the number of languages that exist in the world today is a fraction of what existed here not too long ago.
So world peace will finally come when we're all speaking Portuguese?
Everyone's saying English is the big one. That's just
according to Firefly, it was English and Mandarin.
I was going to say
Mandarin. I know. But it's going to here's the beautiful thing. This is
beautiful.
Again,
is it
Well, this
horrible.
is it's beautiful. So, all right, let me specify. It's beautiful for me because it fits with my worldviews and my things and like that. And it's okay if it doesn't fit with yours. It just fits with mine. Language changes. So whatever the world language is when that happens, it won't be English like we are talking right now, but it will be a changed
We'll be speaking the
variation of it.
true.
The Cloud Atlas. We'll be speaking the Cloud Atlas True True language.
Atlas, old man.
And that's a great movie that was under awarded. No, it's just like it evolved, it changed, and then it adapted in such a way that the most number of people, the largest amount of people, could benefit from it in some way.
It's like my mom, the Polish that she speaks is not the Polish that people speak. The cool kids speak in Poland now, because it's changed so much. She's speaking the Polish that her parents brought with them in the 1940s. So like she's like if she would ever talk to one of my friends that was like Polish and spoke whatever the dialect is now with all the slang and everything, my mom would be like, "Oh, I don't really know what that word is or how to say that." It's all changing constantly.
Like how in London they say bruv.
What you thinking, bruv?
Or here they say on fleek.
But you know what happened?
I don't think they say that anymore.
I think that's out of the.
Damn it! I just got it.
You know what happens though in Poland, right? There's a bunch of different dialects, but then when the Nazis attack, they all band together and they say, you know what? It doesn't matter what our dialects are. We're going to fight the Nazis.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like you said, if we have aliens or robots or something like that to unite the human race, I feel we shouldn't need that, right? We shouldn't need it.
We're concocting this plan like it's going to happen.
Yeah, I like the slow moves from the Jontron debate to this.
I hope someone buys our script, Bruce.
It's just one of those things that I don't know. Maybe it's just this culture right now, but everybody sort of looks up to that. We all look up to the fact that, like, you know what? We all shake hands, whether black or white or brown or whatever, and we all say, "All right, let's fight the aliens." Like, and everyone goes, "Yeah!" You know, we all get excited about that.
Well, I always say, put yourself in that situation, racist or otherwise, where the aliens abduct you, and then you break out of your prison and you find just another human. Do you think, oh no, a black person or a white person or whatever in that situation, or do you go, another human, thank God?
Yeah.
And then, like, I wish we had that mindset all the time, where we're like, let's band together, let's all be. But that's not going to happen because we still got a bunch of monkey brains.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind now. What happens if the aliens come, like Arrival, and they're peaceful? Then we got to integrate the aliens in to our.
Not my plan.
You're thinking alienation. You're way off. We give them badges and make them cops.
Well, let me blow your double blow.
Okay, double blow.
We're going to that planet or the moon outside of Jupiter.
Yeah.
That accommodates us, but now we're the immigrants.
Oh my God.
Wait.
And now we got to speak alien. And I got to drive a cab.
Double blow. We're taking our robot prisoners with us because we're going to abandon them on the dark side of Jupiter. But then we get there, the aliens are there, so we have to band with the robots against the aliens.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Omar, what were you going to say?
Something about Cuba.
Was it about robots or aliens?
Or Cuba.
Omar?
No, keep going. You're good.
Okay.
He's like, you said what I was going to say.
Speaking of
Aliens.
Cuba, none of those really work.
Omar.
Make it work, Bruce.
Speaking of Omar not shaving,
Aha.
He doesn't shave, right? I don't think he shaves.
Not
Right
anymore,
not for a
but he
little while.
should.
He should.
He's about to because
before Dollar Shave Club, it was either save money and get a painful shave from a disposable like the ones they give away for free at the gym, which felt like shaving with a piece of glass. It sucks. It really does. Or you pay a fortune for the latest gimmicky shave breakthrough that nobody needs, like a laser chin detector. Omar, do you have one of those? Or 17 more blades.
I don't have a chin.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Dollar Shave Club is the best of both worlds there. A premium shave at a disposable price. Get a close, smooth shave every single time, and you can't beat the convenience or the price of the club. Right now, they're giving away a 1-month trial of any of their razors for $1 with free shipping. And after that, it's just a few bucks a month. There's no long-term commitments, no hidden fees, and you cancel whenever you want. Get your $1 trial at dollarshaveclub.com/dude. D-U-D-E. That's dollarshaveclub.com/dude. D-U-D-E. And then you can start that trial for $1 with free shipping. So there you go. If you want to shave, if you want to be like Omar and start shaving, then go to Dollar Shave Club.
The sad story that they described in that ad read is exactly my tale. I never thought I would be that. I used to get like the bag of disposable razors because I didn't want to invest in a good one. And it was always terrible.
They suck.
It was always horrible.
They're the worst.
And then I got Dollar Shave Club, and I was a little apprehensive about it at first because you're still supposed to just throw away the razor. But now I always have. It's always good.
Yeah.
It's always good.
have we talked about the story when we did the Sim City machinima video and
No,
they made
no,
me
yeah, you should-
shave a beard probably thicker than this with a Bic razor, piece of crap.
Oh my
You're not
god.
supposed to do that.
No, and they were like, I remember the director or the producer at the time telling poor Michael to go to the store and he like whispered in his ear and everyone could hear. He goes, "Get the cheapest razor they got," and I was like.
It's funny. It's the difference
beard
of
trim or
like it's the
anything?
difference of like $4 too.
I remember having to shave with one of those things that like I'm pretty sure it broke at one point, so then I had to take the handle and then shave it. And then afterwards, when they were filming, they looked
all
at
bloody.
Lawrence and they were like, "Oh, Lawrence, you should have played the character that Adam is."
Adam, shit.
I mean, I think I remember he had cuts all over his face because he was trying to shave with this crappy razor.
Yeah.
Anyways, just to close out the Jontron stuff, basically, over the course of March 14th to 16th, he lost about 10,000 subscribers, and his subreddit was shut down temporarily because of all the shit posts. It's back up now, but it's basically just a parody of the whole controversy. His subs are back up too, so that's fine. You don't need to worry about Jontron, not that anybody was.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be just fine. The whole difference between this and the PewDiePie thing with the Wall Street Journal and the death to all Jews joke was that the PewDiePie thing was in the context of comedy. And this was not. This was just political beliefs said by Jontron. And my question to you guys and sort of everybody else is, should we as YouTubers and people in the public eye be speaking up on these issues? Does anybody really care? Does it ever help your career or does it just hurt? I don't know. Does it help people?
I don't know.
Does it really help their career?
I guess if I really felt strongly about some sort of cause, even then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like even going out there and saying stuff like "Go vote, it's important." Even that, I'm always kind of like I feel like I'm going to piss someone off. And it's like anyone who's following me is because they heard me make a Skyrim with guns joke or something, and they're like, vote. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We'll just we make stuff.
I think I don't know. I mean, I think at a certain point you're always going to have your platform, and you can use that however you want to. I think as long as you're making sure that you can sleep at night, then you're probably doing a good job. And also, if you're not keeping anyone else up, that would be qualifier number 2. I don't know, because like an example of it is like Elyse and I went to the Women's March, and we tweeted about it while we were there, and a lot of people were happy, but also a lot of people were upset. And you kind of learn. I think it's useful. It depends on how you come at it. It's if you're definitive and you're like, this is the way it is and should be, then you're probably going to piss people off. If you're like, this is the way I am, then there's a way to still like, I didn't see people angry at me about going to the Women's March and then go, well, screw this person and like unfollow me then. And I didn't want to get into an argument with them. But that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
That's what I felt was right.
Well, you're allowed to. You're allowed to. That's the point of America, right?
And sometimes it's like we can have both. We can have both. You can like people like that don't necessarily do everything you want to at all times.
It's one or the other.
I mean,
I don't
Black
know.
and white, you Nazi.
I think I'm a little more radical. Where do I think if you're going to a women's march, you're on the right side of history, and if you're going to a white supremacist march, you're on the wrong side of history? Yes.
Well, so the women's
Absolutely.
Well,
think so.
I didn't say that's
I
not
know.
what I said.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I have no problem telling people that that's how I feel, and that's what I'm gonna do.
That's what I'm saying, and I think you should.
Yeah.
I think
know.
you should.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like, I hate to say it, but if a white supremacist, let's say Jontron was a white supremacist, even though we don't know who he is, and I don't think he is. Let's say he goes to a white supremacist march and tweets about it. He's like, "Hey, this is my thing. This is what I want to do. I want to be here." Then he's allowed. That is a thing that he is allowed to do.
Yeah.
But then you also have
absolutely.
to accept that that might hurt you, your individual.
Absolutely, it will.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for us too because we're a group. So like if one of you guys went just nutso and we just went and that started hurting us as a business, I'm curious how that would, if someone would go, "Hey, you gotta me tone down on the white supremacist talk." I mean,
Yeah, kill the hate speech.
Subscribers are up.
Yeah, they love it.
I don't want them. I don't want them.
The kids love it.
Anyway.
Well, I think you have a right to unfollow. I think
Yeah.
if someone saw me there and they unfollowed me, then okay, this is where our relationship parts ways.
Which is okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're allowed to like
That's
whatever
okay.
you want to like.
But I mean, I'm not gonna change who I am and what I think is right for the sake of maintaining the largest audience of
Right.
who cares,
Right.
you know, wherever.
By the way, I think I was 100% wrong about jazz being one of the only music that's
Uh-oh.
America's has started.
Yeah.
Americans started. I think that there's a whole long list.
I mean, Adam said hip hop.
Well,
I
there's.
said rap, but yeah.
I don't know if this list is correct either, so I'm just going to read them off: jazz, blues, country, bluegrass, rock, rhythm and blues, ragtime, hip hop, barbershop, pop, experimental, techno, house, dance, boogaloo, salsa, and rock and roll. So
That's
those may all be
What is
other
Boogaloo?
Boogaloo.
Can't
maybe.
say that, by the way.
Yeah.
No, I forget what boogaloo's like.
Is that like Ricky Ricardo?
Boogaloo's Latin boogaloo, so it's a genre of Latin music and dance, which was popular in the United States. This wasn't birthed
Yeah.
in the United States.
But I mean, jazz.
But it was popular in the 1960s. Either way, I love jazz because it's a fusion of everything. And I don't listen to jazz a lot. I'm just
No,
saying
no, absolutely not.
I like the concept of jazz.
You
It's
should
the
really
notes
try
that aren't there.
experimental techno.
It's the
though.
notes that aren't there. Exact. Thank you, Omar. I appreciate that. And Adam's still talking about techno. I also
Experimental techno.
I also
Big difference.
appreciate that.
There's also jungle.
That's hate speech.
Yeah, you can't say that.
You can say jungle. It's called jungle.
You're allowed to say
In some
jungle.
countries, hate speech is a crime.
So
Drum and
finally,
bass,
so thank you very much for sitting
hard
through that
style.
very serious, hard conversation. I figured, even though Lawrence is out, we should do Hard Nettin.
Do we have time?
We have time. And I wanted to remind you all of I think the current champion of Hard Nettin is the Russian cult,
Gadget cult.
the Gadget cult.
There it is.
Here, it's right here.
Yep.
Yep.
And they love Gadget. Now, an interesting thing about this cult is that this was in 2010.
Yeah.
Did Lawrence say that to us?
Yeah. He said it existed for a long time. It's Russia though, so 2010 is like 1983 for them.
Yeah, those turtlenecks are a deeper shade of beige by now.
So they love Gadget, but this is
Yeah.
in 2010. So this cult might have grown, or maybe they all killed themselves in an underground bunker.
Yeah. The Gadget rocket.
I'm not sure.
Went by.
So this is the current champion. They love Gadget, and
like-
by the way, I'm partial to Gadget.
They're
as
like F. Scott Fitzgerald. They died not knowing that they were geniuses.
well. And then I brought a new challenger, thanks to Adam, who sent me some interesting links earlier today.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, buddy.
We're gonna hopefully there's no
Adam, first of all, I don't think Adam truly understands hard netting, because when Bruce was like, I'm looking for hard netting categories, the things Adam sent out were monstrous.
They were
And
terrible.
I don't think that they were hard netting at all.
There was a spider biting a man's penis.
That's
and stuff
not
like
hard
that.
net.
That
That's
was-
That's just
just
unfortunate.
that's just an
Or did he
accident.
procure the
I-
spider?
yes, he forced the spider to bite
I
his
offered
penis.
Bruce a playbook, and there were all sorts of plays
Why
in there.
are there related videos of pictures of corpses?
You'll see. We're gonna get there. So
right.
this is on YouTube. So I mean, like, I don't understand why, but this
at least-
also happened in 2010. 2010 was a really busy year.
Yeah.
But this was uploaded by DJ Def Joey.
That's a bad ratio. There.
And-
Likes dislikes.
He talks in all.
Can we full screen?
Hold on.
Because
I wanted you to read the title.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, my dead great grandma's coffin in my own backyard. This is for the audio listeners. And then what happens is
Okay.
he has his great grandma's coffin in his backyard. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, see how happy he is about that?
That's like movie maker.
And then I'm going to skip through to the
Is
most
that a
important
video of his grandma?
the most important part. See, he keeps the casket there in the backyard. Cool.
Oh no.
All right, hold on. So
We
then what
should
he
say turn it off if you're not prepared for this.
so then what he
Wait,
does
was that? Oh my God, no.
what he does so what he does is he pops it open. There she is.
Yeah.
She's been there for a while. Obviously, it's been a little bit.
That's a mummy.
She's perfectly preserved. It's kind of making me
Not
gag.
perfectly, no.
Perfectly.
Kind of making me gag a little bit.
She was
then-
way worse than Lennon.
And then what he does is he kisses her.
Oh wow. Love knows no
So
sound
so
because he's deaf.
There's no way that that's real.
I look. I did a little bit of more research on this, and it seemed to be real because there are tons of articles written about it, and this was a thing that I think this man actually did. As he
okay,
kept
but
his-
I'm trying to think how it applies to the greater internet in general.
Well, the greater
does he
internet,
have a
so-
community of people does he have a group that also kiss their dead grandmothers?
the amazing thing about it is that he uploaded this in 2010.
Yeah.
It was picked up in 2012 and 2014, and then again in 2017.
When
Today, yeah.
when did he go on Ellen?
Is there a follow-up video?
I don't know if there's a follow-up video. I could look. Hold on.
Because he's in jail.
I don't know if he's in. You're allowed to do that. Why not? Why couldn't you do that?
You can't keep dead people around, can you?
Why
I think
not?
he
Watch
can.
me.
If you're, I mean, like, who cares? Hold
She's
on.
in a
Why
casket,
buy
I
the,
guess. Most of the
why
time.
Let's
buy
find
the
out what else
coffin
is
if
on
you're
his
not going to
channel.
bury it?
Well, why doesn't he get her like a roof or something? It rains on her.
He had the tarp.
What about his neighbors? That's got to smell terrible.
Oh, so he's uploading videos on his channel.
It's
I'll drag
sealed.
this
Coffins
over.
are generally pretty sealed.
I'll drag
He
this
opened it and kissed the lady.
Yeah, well, that's just a little bit. Bruce farted into the chair before we started the thing.
So he.
Oh,
loves,
marijuana's
he loves-
health benefits.
He loves marijuana. Religion and politics don't mix. That's true. I would
Okay.
agree.
Is he a green man?
What is that? What is that on the right? It's just a Santa's hat floating.
Copy of Just Say Hello to All of You. I don't know what this is. So,
Oh, he's into crystals too.
So he's the greatest YouTuber of us all.
Yeah.
so
Oh, you can put your own whatever you want.
obviously he's got followers. I'm still gagging. Obviously he's got followers.
Hey, Achievement Hunter.
Well, Bruce
Recommended
signed
video.
in, so
Oh yeah, I am signed in. Shit.
Do you think gay
This
is
isn't your
unnatural?
history.
Yeah. No, there's,
Okay.
see, there's 4,300 subscribers, so people like what he posted.
well,
And that video had like I think it was like over. a
But
million
we're
views.
talking. So is Hard Nettin DJ Def Joey?
Hard
Is he
Nettin
the candidate, or
D-
is it the idea of kissing grandma's corpse in the backyard?
I'm gonna say it's DJ Def Joey.
DJ Def
Is
Joey
he,
is the
is,
candidate.
is he hard netting harder than the Russian cult from 2010 that we don't know exists?
Can you scroll further down the videos?
About Gadget.
He's got marijuana videos. He's got religion and politics videos.
IRS scam.
He's got a green screen video. He's got dead grandma.
Myself is getting.
He has how-tos, tips,
Yeah.
and
Go haunted
how-tos.
hospitals.
He is.
Why is one of them called "Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things"?
It's a
That's
follow-up.
because that's his grandmother.
He's, yeah, probably children were like doing it, and he was saying, "No, don't do
4
it."
years ago.
He's a
4
member
years
of the
ago.
deaf community.
He has haunted videos. That's tough. See, I think him as a whole,
He's really good.
Yeah.
he's really kind of hitting on all the things that make the internet
he
a
he
place
is
you
internet.
should never go. He is kind of internet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a really good job. I'm gonna be honest
I-
with
How
you.
many videos does he have? There's a shitload of stuff.
He's got a lot. Hold on, let's check.
I'm a little worried about his upload schedule.
Yeah.
It's like once every 4 years. He's like a cicada.
He's got.
you gotta search for
almost-
him, and then it'll tell you.
Oh yeah, he's got
So
almost
weird.
2 million views.
He's an actual DJ.
DJ Def.
I think it was back then when everyone just called themselves something DJ.
Yeah,
There we
he
go.
is.
228 videos.
that's a lot of
That's
videos.
a lot of videos.
Look at that first video.
Is it? Wait, hold on. Is he deaf? Is he actually deaf?
He's hard of hearing, he
I-
said.
he's-
in
oh,
his
he's hard of
bio.
hearing. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's not
probably
That's
fully-
how
all
he
the
still
DJ.
DJs.
He's not full of death.
Well, I'm with Bruce. I'm gonna give it to DJ Def Joey.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm giving it to DJ Joey. Even
I
that
feel
one
like-
video.
I feel
I
like
think I would win.
well,
It's not a competition,
yeah. I feel like
I mean, necessarily it is a competition, right?
but not between us.
if we didn't have the internet, we would never have DJ Def Joey.
That's a really good.
Think
point.
about it.
That's a really good.
Big
point.
media wants to
50.
keep him down.
Life after 50. He's almost 60 years old now.
Hold on, he's got live video of an earthquake. Hold on, let's see here. There it is.
What? Did he just steal that from Live Leak?
Well, let's see. Here's the video.
Whoa, watch it.
Was he on the roof?
Get out of there, Tommy Lee Jones.
Wait, who's that? Man, I love this guy so much.
Okay, well,
So DJ Jeff Joey wins. Yeah?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
think
so.
he as an entity is hard netting pretty hard. Where's his grandma? I don't see his grandma in the backyard.
He buried her.
Yeah, he probably buried
She's
her
back
now.
there with
No,
the
this
rest
video
of them.
is before that.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Oh, it was. This was 2 years before his
Whoa.
grandma
Yeah, and that
died.
earthquake should have popped grandma right out of the ground.
He lives nearby.
Dude.
Maybe that's what happened.
He,
The
he
earthquake
does live
popped her
nearby.
out.
We should talk to him, get an interview with him.
Nope.
No.
Oh
want to.
yeah.
He's like, hey, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, pleasure to meet you. Oh, your breath stinks. Poor grandma.
So thank you, DJ Def Joey, for being
Congratulations.
our hard netting champion.
Lawrence is going to be like, what
Checks
did
in
you
the
do
mail.
while I was gone?
I know.
What
Well,
the hell happened?
All those people who unsubscribe from Jontron need something new. So hopefully
go.
DJ Def, since you can only subscribe so many times,
That's true. You have a limited number of
that's you gotta buy more
subscribers.
tokens if you want to subscribe.
Hold on. I like this channel.
Yes, you do.
This is a good channel here.
Soldier Boy, he's up there 9 years ago. What?
Anyways, thank you very much for watching
Yeah.
Dude Soup Live on first week. That means we're live for everybody right now. We're
Hey.
not just for Rooster Teeth sponsors.
Crap! I shouldn't have said all those things I
yeah,
said.
I thought no one was going to see it.
Well, no, they saw it all. So
Joey could be watching.
yeah, so thank you again for
Not
watching.
listening, though.
And if you want to watch this live every single week on Monday afternoon Pacific time for us, then you have to become a Rooster Teeth First member. We do this live every single Monday. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the post show, which we're going to do right afterwards, and that I believe is also free for every single person today.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. So that's cool. So we got to watch our mouths a little more. We're all looking for somebody famous, just like Pocahontas is my direct relative.
Yeah, that's
true?
right.
That is absolutely true.
That's not can't possibly be
100%.
Here's the thing, though, Bernie, I believe it. But I
It
believe
is.
it. But Bruce always ignores the fact that she was probably brutally assaulted.
I don't ignore
to
that.
produce him eventually.
I don't ignore that. That's fucking awesome. She made it through. She got raped by John.